So this is gonna be a little mini haul. I went all around town. I know I went without you. I'm sorry. This was just kind of a personal one. I went all around town, shop to shop, scouring for cool stuff to get, and I figured, oh, we'll fucking do a haul about it.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get to see it, they'll get to see it, and we're gonna roll from there. So let's start it off with a comic book, which I know you love comics.
Mm-hmm.
This has been lauded here in the back as the best horror comic. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. Seemed pretty cool, doubt.
I enjoy horror.
It's called Obergeist, director's cut, set in 1940s. It's about this a Nazi scientist that worked under Joseph Mengele and did all his fucked up scientific experiments.
Pretty horrifying.
And then comes to regret it and change his ways, or does he? I don't know. We'll find out. Seemed pretty good.
Yeah, horror.
Next up, I found a couple of books at a new bookseller, which I rarely do. You know, I try to find used books for the stank, and they're cheaper.
Yeah, you love the stank.
But I felt I could plop down some money for these nuggets. First is What We Knew, Terror, Mass Murder, and Everyday Life in Nazi Germany. Seemed pretty interesting read.
Seems like a interesting choice.
It says a major contribution to the understanding of life in Nazi Germany. Essential, I would say. So that was interesting. It's brought to us by Eric A. Johnson, the guy that wrote the seminal book Nazi Terror. So I figured this would be a good addition to that.
That classic.
Next up was this is like a deep one, man. You know, it's a relatively new book about an old subject from the 40s, adequately enough. I mean, just coincidentally, I think. This had How Mankind Committed the Ultimate Infamy at Auschwitz, A New History. So,
cool.
fixing to get some answers there, guys.
Yeah.
Little Auschwitz trivia. Oh, no, I didn't get just books here.
Trivia? You're going to go on Jeopardy or what?
Yeah, you know.
Get your
that category comes up, I'm set.
Yeah.
I didn't just get books, though. This is a classic piece of 1970 cinema. Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. Now, I could have gotten Ilsa, Harry Keeper of the Oil Sheiks, or Tigress of Siberia. But no,
really,
I mean, you gotta go. You gotta go. If you gotta go Ilsa, you gotta go with the SS version of Ilsa. Best version, clearly, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, pretty good. Diane Thorne, pretty hot. Classic exploitation film.
She got good titties.
She got good titties, good anus.
So I guess I get it.
Next up, this was a used purchase, but a pretty surprising find nonetheless. Also, coincidentally, just thematically tied into everything. So, who knew?
I don't know.
And that's Himmler, a full-scale biography of one of Hitler's most ruthless executioners.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say cool. I mean, he was a pretty big asshole, dude. I don't know where you're getting that from. But anyway, the point is,
this guy wouldn't criticize me, dude.
You're the one saying, he's a cool-ass dude.
I never said he was a cool guy.
Quote, he's a cool guy. Literally 3 seconds ago.
Look, it's not my proudest moment.
Anyway, Hitler's a douchebag. I mean, Hitler too, don't get me wrong, douchebag. But Himmler is like the behind-the-scenes douchebag. Head of the SS, part of Thule Society. Organized the concentration camps. Pretty big fucking shit right there, right?
Yeah.
For a douche.
I don't know.
Next up.
This is disturbing.
This is a small haul, but it comes with epic proportions. Just coincidentally tied into everything we have, but I think it was the capstone in this haul. The rise and fall of the Third Reich.
This is a disturbing trend, dude. You went out and bought a bunch of Nazi shit?
No, man. The rise and fall. It would be bad if it was like the rise and continued rise of the Third Reich. That would be awful. And fictitious, by the way. This is a legitimate... this is the seminal tome, even, of the Reich.
Cool. Clearly there's something you're not telling us.
Is that a Luger you're pointing at me? Because if it is...
Yeah, don't be pointing fingers.
I'm not the one that would be pointing fingers, really.
Clearly you've lost the moral high ground when you bought all this Hitler shit.
Clearly you lost the moral high ground when you have an ancient weapon, which, by the way, is clearly not real.
It's real, damn it!
Oh, it's real to you, I bet. God damn
Still
it,
real
dude.
to me. The Reich is coming, dude.
So
And you're clearly ready.
I'm clearly against it because I'm being prepared, but you're here sporting Lugers and fucking, dictator pants, as I can see from here.
Yeah, look.
Stop pointing.
That's another war completely.
Stop pointing your damn Luger
I'm
at
wearing
me.
Civil War pants.
You're the wrong side, man. That's the South.
Look! There's a trend here, and I'm noticing that maybe I'm on the wrong side of history.
It's a pretty good Luger, though.
Yeah.
As far as fake Lugers go.
Top 10 Lugers.
Anyway.
There's a video.
Look, I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there.
Uh-huh.
You're not a secret Nazi warrior.
Yeah. Well,
although you try to accuse me of being one
you know.
just now.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all I got to say. No, look, folks. It's all been a gag. I hope you understand that.
Yeah.
But I did notice that I had an uncomfortable amount of World War II related things.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, this is like a fourth of what I used to have.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
disturbing.
used to have a lot of shit. But it's a fascinating part of history. So
I do want to say that
I think the ultimate documentary of Ilsa, the most accurate representation of World War II, Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. I mean, that says it all.
You did come close, or you did come short of at least not. Wait, what? You went as far as to at least not buy Mein Kampf. So there's always that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't want to read the philosophical meanderings of a fool. However, I did at one point own a Nazi armband, and it was framed.
Legit?
Well, no, it was a replica because the guy was a sleazebag.
Oh.
Not that, I guess, getting an original.
Yeah.
Here, look, here's the story behind that. I may have told this before, but I found a guy that had a bunch of weird ass shit, like old school shit.
Took you in a back room.
Took me in a back room.
Lubed you up and went in.
Said, God, I was with my ex back then. My ex was like this weird, gothy type.
Mm-hmm.
One of my exes. Anyway, this particular one was this weird gothy type. We were looking at all the shit. He had a bunch of shit, like old coins, Deutschmarks from the war. Just historical related shit. Knives of all varieties. And we're looking around his little shop. And he's like, guys, come back here. You two look like you would like this. Takes us back.
I just want to point out that she was super white.
Oh, yeah, she was
and you
insanely white.
are a pretty white-looking dude.
I'm a white-looking dude, despite being Mexican. But anyway, he took us back. And just to clear this up, this guy was a Mexican guy, like super Mexican. He took us to the back.
Yeah.
And in the back was a house of fucking horrors, man. This guy had like a virtual altar to everything World War II related, not on the Allied side. Let's just put it that way. And on top of that, the only thing that he had that varied from that were pictures of death of all kinds, like shot people, hung people, burned people. Not related to the war, just death
in general. Yeah.
So the only variant to the overwhelming amount of fucking World War II Nazi related shit was death photography.
Fitting, really.
So I was like, this is a place we're at. And he's like, yeah, go ahead and have a look around.
Then he came up behind you.
With his Luger, yeah. He's like, go ahead and have a look around, and, let me know what you want, and I'll give you a discount, he says. And we're like, so now you're pressured, dude. You're in a situation where this guy has invited you into his, inner sanctum of evil. Assuming that you, kind of like are in cahoots with him apparently, and on top of that, he's like the lone shopkeeper in a private area, going, now you can shop, and you're like, what the fuck? Now you're pressured to buy something. So I did end up buying something, the cheapest thing, which unfortunately it was not the Luger, which unfortunately was a picture. It was the cheapest thing. It was a laminated picture. Unfortunately, the picture was a Hitler on the steps of some fucking building. I almost remember what it was, but anyway, coming down the steps with like Himmler at his side. That was the cheapest thing he had, so I could get out of there, and that's what I bought. And I still have it somewhere. And
Yeah, but how did you come across the armband?
Okay, well, the armbands, check this out.
There's more to the story.
Yeah, there's more to the story. So
you brought up the Luger, and you're like, shit.
No, so I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll take this. Again, that was the cheapest thing in there. I had no other choice. And I had to get out. It was awkward. That's what I'm saying. But anyway. And he's like, oh, that's it? Clearly, like, what the fuck? Expected more out of you.
Yeah.
Clearly, right? So I'm like, yeah, man, I don't really have that much money. Then my idiot ex goes, oh, I'll get you something. What? And he's like, oh, cool. She'll get you something. And I'm like, oh, this is a situation I'm in. So she starts to look around, right? I don't know what the fuck her idea was. Was this the best way to get out of it or not? I don't know what the fuck. But anyway, starts looking around. And this guy's chatting to me. And as aforementioned, I used to like indulge a lot in this particular portion of history because it's one of the most interesting portions of history ever. You know, literally the most evil, maniacal fucking human beings ever existed at this particular moment in time. You know, it's a defining moment in history. So I had a lot of stuff. So I could hold up the conversation with him, but his conversation was like, yeah, man, wasn't it cool the way this happened? I'm like, no, it's not cool when people got gassed.
Those guys were pretty rad, weren't they?
I was like, dude,
stop.
It was pretty weird, dude. Well, then she's like, oh, I didn't find anything. I guess that was her plan. Pretend that, you know, I don't know what the fuck. I never bothered to ask afterwards because I was like, dude, we got out of there alive. Anyway, fucking, he's like, oh, I got the perfect thing. I'm like, oh, no. So he goes and he opens this drawer and takes out this Nazi armband that's framed in this long, you know, kind of rectangular frame, fully laid out. And I'm like, this is a thing he has. And he's like, unfortunately, it's not real. I had to make a replica because the real one dude, this is a direct, I'm not even fucking joking. The dude, he says, the real one was the Jew that was going to sell it to me decided not to. End quote. And I was like, that's a sentence this guy fucking said.
That's a cool guy right there.
Yeah, but then he elaborates that he's going to convince, quote, the Jew to sell him it. And I'm like, well, when you buy it,
I'll be here.
Let me know. Anyway, she ended up paying like, I don't know, like 30 something bucks for it. And we walked out and I was like, what the fuck? And then she's like, here. And I'm like, I don't want the fucking armband. But anyway, I had the fucking armband.
You're like around like a bunch of Mexican folk too.
Yes, this was a highly Mexican area with a bunch of Mexican folk. And I'm walking around with a fucking Nazi armband in a frame. It's hard to hide because it's a frame. Anyway, I'm like, oh my God, this is a thing. So anyway, I had that fucking thing for forever. We ended up breaking up, she and I, and like a year or two later, on and off speaking terms, I was like, hey man, come pick up your shit, you know, all the shit you left here, or you know, shit that I don't want anymore, or whatever. And she's like, cool. And I had like 4 boxes of her shit or shit she gave me or whatever that I just didn't want anymore. And unfortunately got rid of some really cool stuff that I could have sold for copious amounts of money. But anyway, in there I secretly stuffed the fucking Nazi armband. And I was like, oh, here's your boxes of stuff.
There ain't no Nazi stuff in there.
So anyway,
there's a fun fact that I want to throw out there.
Fun factoid.
In the downtown area, which as we previously established is full of a lot of Chinese folk, there is a loan place in which you can, you know, change checks and get loans and shit, right? But it's also a pawn shop.
Oh yeah,
a weird spot.
Yeah,
they had a bunch of Nazi armbands there.
Yeah, they did, man.
They also had like these like freaking alligator boys and all that shit. It was weird.
It's a weird place. It's a loan place, cash exchange, pawn shop, and that's the place. I don't know if I've told this story before. That's the place I almost bought a mummy in.
No, you did not.
I didn't? Okay, well, I almost bought a mummy.
That's the title?
I don't know how this went from a gag video to me talking about this weird experience to now mummies, but here it goes. I almost bought a mummy. I had the money on hand to buy it.
The money for the mummy?
But I was convinced not to by my former lover. Well, I mean, I guess,
you know. 1950?
By my ex. Not the same ex. This was years later. But you know, this place I had visited before as a child or a teenager, and I was stuck in my mind. So I was like, oh, we gotta go see this place again. So we did.
We gotta go sometime.
Yeah, that's true. It's a weird place.
Yeah,
it has tons of weird shit in it. Just weird fucking shit that you're like, who turned this into a pawn shop?
There's like an alligator boy in there.
Yeah, there's like sideshow refuse, like fucking the mermaids, the Fiji mermaids. They have those. They have skeletons, monkeys, strange shit in general. Coins, knives of ancient roots, you know, just a bunch of Aztec shit. Just weird shit that you wouldn't expect in the pawn shop of all places. Anyway, they also had a bunch of weird, like, Nazi regalia. Like, I remember they had
they had a full, like, coat.
They had at one point they had a full outfit, like a SS Capo outfit. I remember they used to have the commandant hats, death's heads, pins and shit like that, like just weird shit. Anyway, this one time we went, I just so happened to have enough to buy a mummy. It was a literal mummy, like a desiccated mummy, like it was scrunched up, like literally it was like this big because it was like scrunched up like this. I'm assuming it was some sort of like Guanajuato style mummy, you know, like some Mexican soil mummy. And it was like in this like casket like case that was, I was thinking like, dude, that would be a sick ass fucking like table in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
You know, just put a see-through glass on top. That would be cool. And I was talked out of buying it because it was thousands of dollars.
Damn.
But now I'm like, I should have bought that mummy, yo.
That would have been a good vid.
Yeah, the mummy vid.
Mid.
That's it. It would just been the mummy.
Check it out. We have a mummy.
But I didn't.
What the laws are
on owning mummies.
Yeah, on like buying mummies.
I don't know, but I'm sure it would have been ironed out right then and there had I not been in the company of someone with some sense.
Yeah.
What about a stank mummy? I don't even know how you take care of a mummy. I would just be like, "This is my mummy. What's up?" Probably ruin it, drop it, all dry like a fucking, you know, like those red chilies that you just stripped to make fucking.
You re-moistened it.
Yeah.
It's all sloppy.
Anyway, this was a weird video.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're out, I guess.
If you want us to buy a mummy, let us know.
Movies, music, story times, all kinds of shit for you. Anything goes inside and out, drunk up with corpulent Jews. Movies, music, story times, all kinds of shit for you.